So Bloomberg really thought Meghan Markle would be their golden guest. Big name, royal ties, worldwide fame seemed like an easy win. They probably imagined a smart, classy talk that would impress their business crowd and maybe even give their platform a fresh touch of glamour. What they got instead was something so painfully awkward that staff are still shaking their heads over it. People behind the scenes say the moment she walked into the studio, it was clear they had made a big mistake. From the start, the energy was dull. Meghan came in with her usual polished look, straight posture, stylish outfit, that practiced smile, but the moment she started talking, things went downhill. It wasn't that she said anything shocking, it's that she said absolutely nothing of value. Viewers who expected smart ideas or leadership got empty buzzwords and PR-friendly fluff. It felt less like a real interview and more like a rehearsed appearance with no depth. For Bloomberg, that was a disaster. This is a network known for sharp content, serious thinking, and real conversations. Meghan's segment was the opposite. One staffer reportedly put it simply, she dragged the show down. And that wasn't meant as cruel, just plain professional disappointment. They were hoping for an exciting guest who could make the episode stronger. Instead, Meghan's presence turned it into a dull, awkward PR spot. And when you're Bloomberg, a platform that features CEOs, presidents, and brilliant minds from across the world, that kind of flop doesn't just hurt, it damages the brand. Behind the scenes, people weren't even waiting for the cameras to stop before sharing concerns. The mood in the control room was tense. Instead of nods of approval or quiet respect, there were raised eyebrows and head shakes. One insider said it felt like a mistake from start to finish. Meghan didn't bring energy or charm. She brought weight. And not the good kind. It was the weight of forced answers, stiff expressions, and shallow sound bites. No honesty, no real emotion. Just the same routine that is starting to wear out. But it's not just the Bloomberg team that noticed. Viewers spoke up too. Social media filled with confusion and boredom. Why was she even there? One viewer tweeted. Another said the interview felt like a beauty pageant contestant answering deep questions with a miscongeniality filter. And let's be honest, when your audience walks away calling your star guest robotic and boring, that's not just a miss, that's a red flag. Bloomberg didn't get the boost in ratings they hoped for either. The numbers were weak. For a platform that judges success by impact and data, this was both a money and reputation mistake. They counted on Meghan bringing in viewers and ads, but when it ended, it was clear she didn't help at all. In fact, she may have hurt them. What made it worse was the comparison. Bloomberg usually hosts guests who bring real respect. When those people speak, the room listens. They share bold ideas, they give sharp insight. Meghan did none of that. She repeated the same tired lines about being misunderstood, hinted at unfair treatment, and wrapped it all in the same Hollywood shine we've seen too many times before. There was no spark, no truth, just another smooth, empty appearance trying to sell a brand that fewer people are buying. And that's the thing. The Meghan Markle brand is running out of power. Even platforms that once welcomed her are starting to quietly back away. Because when the focus shifts from real content to damage control, the cost becomes greater than the gain. Bloomberg learned that the hard way. It wasn't just the flat performance that upset people. It was how Meghan seemed totally out of place with what Bloomberg stands for. This is a platform built on facts, data, and real analysis. When they invite someone, there's an unspoken rule that they'll bring value. Meghan instead gave the impression she was more focused on shining her image than having a real conversation. The whole setup felt like a vanity booking, not one built on value. And that perception has weight. Inside Bloomberg, producers started questioning how this decision was made at all. Some staff reportedly said red flags were raised early, but the booking moved forward anyway because of her big name. The assumption was that Meghan's name would be enough. But it turns out fame without substance just doesn't work anymore, especially not at Bloomberg. The irony is, Meghan wanted the opposite. She came in expecting praise, maybe even admiration. But what she got was polite professionalism followed by private regret. Instead of lifting the room, she drained it. One staffer summed it up perfectly. She didn't just underperform, she made it all about herself. And that's the repeating theme with Meghan's media spots. What should be a conversation turns into her monologue. What should be informative ends up feeling promotional. This isn't the first time this pattern has shown up. Look at Spotify. That huge, expensive deal ended badly with executives later mocking her for lacking creativity. They felt cheated. So did audiences. The same cycle keeps playing out. Big hype, fancy launch, then silence, or worse, disappointment. Meghan keeps landing high-profile chances, but more and more she leaves a mess behind. That's what Bloomberg is now facing. It's not just one bad guest spot, it's a blow to their editorial choices. When a serious network books someone who fails this badly, it doesn't go unnoticed. Other outlets are watching, executives are whispering, and the conclusion is clear. Meghan is no longer a safe bet. She's a risk. Part of the backlash also comes from how predictable it all was. Meghan leaned on her usual lines, being misunderstood, being judged unfairly, trying to rise above hate. But it all felt like a rerun. Audiences have heard it before, and this time they weren't buying it. There was no energy, no spark, no new story, just the same old victim angle dressed up in designer clothes and delivered with distance. To make it worse, this wasn't even a royal interview. Bloomberg didn't invite her to talk about family drama or private struggles. They wanted a thoughtful voice on global issues. Instead, what they got was a wasted chance. The whole segment turned into being about Meghan, how she looked, how she answered, the image she gave. The topic didn't matter. The discussion didn't matter. Only she did. That kind of self-focus might work on entertainment shows, but in serious media, it backfires. People don't tune in for branding, they tune in for truth, clarity, and ideas. Meghan brought none of that, and the fallout wasn't just internal. Viewers were vocal. Social media mocked her performance. Memes spread about how out of touch she seemed. The main reaction wasn't anger, it was boredom. And in media, boredom is worse. What sealed the damage was the silence after. Bloomberg gave no statement, didn't defend the segment, didn't do any PR cleanup, and that silence spoke louder than any press release. Insiders started leaking details, proving what the public already guessed, that the network saw the whole thing as a mistake. And not just a small mistake, but a serious dent in judgment. Meghan Markle is no longer bringing value to the places she enters. This wasn't random. It added to a growing list of outlets let down after working with her. From Oprah to Spotify. To Netflix, the pattern is clear. Big launch, high hopes, carefully staged branding, then a slow collapse that ends with viewers tuning out. It's not even shocking anymore. It's expected. And that's the real danger. When someone's name becomes tied to failure, people stop watching and networks stop inviting. What made the Bloomberg flop worse was how public it was. Media critics picked it up. Analysts broke it down. Rival outlets used it as a warning. Meghan didn't just lose one platform, she lost an entire tier of credibility. Bloomberg isn't a gossip site, it's a respected global giant. If they regret giving her space, that sends a loud signal to the whole industry. And then there's the money. These aren't free spots. Networks spend on guests like Meghan expecting returns. More viewers, more ads, bigger reach. None of that happened. The buzz was dead on arrival. Clips from the interview barely spread online. People didn't share them. Critics didn't praise them. The data was flat. And in media, flat means failure. Behind the scenes, producers reviewed not just the segment, but Meghan herself. One insider reportedly said, "We thought we were getting a cultural icon. What we got was a walking press release." That line explained it all. Meghan didn't walk into Bloomberg ready to engage. She walked in ready to sell, and people saw through it instantly. The public's reaction only made it worse. Social media users, many of whom once defended her during her royal battles, now seemed tired. The main feeling wasn't hate, it was fatigue. People are sick of the same routine, the fake vulnerability, the vague complaints, the contradictions, the constant effort to repaint her image while dodging real accountability. At some point, that story stops working. And now, the industry is shifting. Behind the scenes, booking teams are rethinking invites. Executives are weighing the risk. Is the Meghan Markle name still worth it, or is it just a headache with no payoff? For many, the answer is becoming clear. Even in royal circles, the reaction has been quiet approval. Meghan's choices keep pulling her further from royal dignity. Every stage she steps on becomes her personal stage. Not for service, not for real dialogue, but for performance. She doesn't build on the royal legacy she married into. She chips away at it one spotlight at a time. Bloomberg didn't just regret a weak interview, they regretted buying into a myth that has no power left.